Welcome to the installation video of the Curt 60605 underbed install kit with the 60611 double lock Easy R Gooseneck Hitch on a 2015 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 short bed. To give you a better view of the installation, we are using a lift. Like most installations, this vehicle does not need to be elevated for the install. We estimate that this installation will take 1 to 2 hours depending on your level of expertise. These are the tools that are necessary for the install. Start by removing the spare tire to give adequate room for the installation. A portion of the heat shield between the bed supports will need to be removed. To ensure that you are removing the correct portion of the heat shield, hold the side plate against the frame in the proper mounting location. Use this as a reference to see which part of the heat shield needs to be removed. Use a rotary cutting tool to cut and remove the section of the heat shield. To make a nice clean edge, you can use a mallet to bend the heat shield's cut edge up around the vehicle's bed support. To remove powder coating or debris from the rear crossarm, run a 1/2-inch hex bolt through the crossarm threads. Repeat this on all 6 of the crossarm's mounting holes. On some truck models, a plastic wheel well cover will need to be trimmed to install the crossarms and gooseneck handle in the driver's side wheel well. To help you define the trim area, place the side plate on the frame and use the provided hardware to temporarily hold it in place. The trim area on the plastic cover will be located over the gooseneck handle hole as shown in the diagram in the included instruction sheet. Measure and mark the wedge-shaped trim area. The area should measure 1.5 inches high and 2.5 inches wide on the top with tapered sides. Remove the side plate and use a rotary cutting tool to trim the plastic wheel well cover. Insert the rear crossarm by sliding it between the frame and the bottom of the truck bed. Once the crossarm spans the frame rails, use a large wrench to rotate the crossarm vertically. The tapped holes in the crossarm are offset by 1/8 of an inch. The crossarm needs to be rotated so the holes are offset towards the vehicle's frame. Once the crossarm is rotated, push it towards the rear of the vehicle. To allow adequate room to insert the front crossarm, use a crescent wrench to bend the metal flange below the bed outward. The crossarm can also be used as a lever to assist in bending the metal flange. After the flange has been significantly bent, slide the crossarm in between the truck frame and the floor of the truck bed. The leg of the crossarm with holes will face the rear of the vehicle, while the leg without holes will face the truck bed. Once the crossarm has been inserted, push it towards the front of the vehicle to make room for the center section. The cylinder of the center section of the hitch is offset. When installing the hitch, make sure that the offset cylinder is towards the rear of the vehicle. Before lifting the hitch into position, make sure that the center locator is inserted into the cylinder. Lift the center section into place, positioning it between the 2 crossarms. Align the square holes in the center section with the holes in the crossarm. Loosely attach the front crossarm using the 4 1/2-inch carriage bolts and hex flange nuts. The mounting location over the fuel tank will use a carriage bolt installed with a square hole spacer from the opposite direction and will be secured with a hex flange nut. Once the front crossarm hardware is loosely installed, attach the rear crossarm using the 4 1/2-inch hex bolts and conical tooth washers. These bolts will thread directly into the crossarm. Starting on the driver's side, place the side plate against the frame at the mounting location and adjust the placement of the crossarms as needed. It may be helpful to use a mallet to adjust the placement. Remove the side plate and fish wire the appropriate hardware to the attachment points. To do this, insert the coiled end of the fish wire in through the mounting hole and out through the access hole in the frame. In this instance, the access hole is located on the inside of the frame rail. Place the square hole spacer over the coiled end and insert it into the access hole. Thread the bolt into the coiled end of the fish wire and push it into the access hole. For now, leave the hardware in the frame. Repeat this process with the second attachment point. Thread the fish wire ends through the side plate attachment points and place the plate against the frame rail. Use the wires to pull the hardware through the plate. Being careful not to let the hardware fall into the frame, remove the fish wires and loosely secure the hardware with the provided hex flange nuts. Repeat this entire process on the passenger side. Now that the side plates are loosely attached, slide both of the side plates rearward as far as possible to ensure that the hitch is square on the vehicle. To attach the side plate to the front crossarm, insert a carriage bolt and spacer in through the front flange in the side plate and through the front crossarm. Attach it with the hex flange nut. Attach the rear flange on the side plate to the rear crossarm using a 1/2-inch hex bolt and conical toothed washer. Repeat this process on the opposite side. Be sure that the center section is centered on the vehicle by verifying that the sides of the center section are in the same location on the bed ribs. Torque all fasteners to the values specified in the included instruction sheets in the following order. Start by torquing the side plates to the truck frame on both sides. Next, torque the center section to the front and rear crossarms. Lastly, torque the side plates to the front and rear crossarms. Now, we are ready to do some drilling. From underneath the truck, use the center locator as a guide to drill a pilot hole into the truck bed. Next, using the center section as a guide, drill the safety chain loops from underneath the truck bed using a 5/8-inch hole saw. On the passenger side, the exhaust may require you to use a small right-angle drill and short pilot bit to drill pilot holes from below the truck. Finish the holes by drilling from above the bed with the 5/8-inch hole saw. If needed, a step drill bit can be used to slightly enlarge the holes, ensuring smooth operation of the chain loops. Now, we will cut the center hole using a 4-inch hole saw. Use a cutting fluid to ease the drilling process. Do not cut through the center locator. Once the hole has been cut, remove the center locator by pulling it up through the hole. If needed, carefully deburr the drilled holes and use a rust inhibitor or touch-up paint to cover the exposed metal edges. Optionally, the rubber edging can be installed around the 4-inch hole to create a clean, finished look. Next, place the chrome trim ring into position and fasten it with the 3 flathead cap screws. Place the 2 U-bolt safety chain loops through the previously drilled holes in the truck bed. From underneath the truck, place a washer, then spring, followed by another washer and nut on each of the 4 U-bolt legs. Tighten the nylock nuts until they are flush with the bottom of the U-bolts. Next, insert the cast lock pin into the ball cylinder with the handle hole located on top. Insert the handle from outside the vehicle on the driver's side through the holes in the center section. Slide on a 3/8-inch washer and compression spring over the handle before inserting the handle rod into the locking pin. Secure it with the hex head flange screw and nylock nut. Reinstall the spare tire. Lastly, find a suitable place to position the product usage sticker. A good location to install the sticker is near the handle on the sub-kit side plate. This completes the installation of the Curt double lock EZR gooseneck hitch. Now that everything is installed, let's go over the operation of your new gooseneck hitch. To remove the pin and reposition the ball, pull the handle out as far as possible and rotate it clockwise until the locking pin is disengaged and locked out. Insert the ball into the cylinder by aligning the ball groove with the cylinder pin. To secure the ball, rotate the handle counterclockwise until the locking pin snaps back into position. Before towing, always double check to make sure that the pins pass completely through the ball and cylinder. When not in use, the gooseneck ball can be flipped over and conveniently stored within the cylinder and covered with the provided rubber cap. This completes the installation video of the Curt 60605 underbed install kit with a 60611 double lock EZR gooseneck hitch on a 2015 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 short bed.
Curt, the first name in towing products.